Welcome back to the Hood Knees Fantasy Football Podcast. This is episode 19. We got the week 4 preview. We're going to go through the first 8 matchups. I'm your host, Keem. I got with me MFB.
Wow.
And BBTB is back.
We back with it, bro. But you guys miss me? I'm here to stay. AKA 550 still here.
No. All right, that's enough. All right. Anyways, we're glad to have BBTV back. He had to beg us both, and we can come back on the podcast. So he's here for the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and get into it. We got Thursday Night Football matchup: Cowboys versus Giants, divisional game. How do you guys feel about the game? You guys think it's going to be a shootout? You think it's going to be kind of conservative?
I kind of got it as a shootout this week. Thursday night. I don't think it's going to disappoint. Should be a fun game to watch.
Cool.
I think Dallas has been like low key. I don't know if you guys saw the little Twitter beef with Trayvon Diggs and Malik Neighbors.
I have not.
They were low key going back. Like I forgot what Malik Neighbors was saying. Like, yeah, I'm excited to go up against like Trayvon or whatever. And then Trayvon was like, we've been giving New York Giants that belt. Like, we've been moving them for some time.
Yeah.
And this fool Malik like tweeted us like some song lyrics or whatever. Anywho, bro,
lyrics crazy. I'm just kidding.
I forgot the lyrics. NBA YoungBoy type of,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Dallas really been having their number. I think this is CD's like boom game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they low key blow these guys out, bro. Like I think they're gonna be far ahead, and I'm not sure if Singletary will do much this game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so in this matchup, I mean, we have Singletary as a start this week. I think, I mean, we can talk about that. I think he's a start. Defense, the Dallas defense has been giving up the most points on the ground so far this season. I think. I'm not sure if that's all formats, but they have been given a lot of groundwork. So
yeah, they have.
I was going to say, I have Singletary as a start, like RB2/flex.
Yeah, honestly, same with me. Kamara put up some points. Henry put up some, they all put up yards and points. So I think Singletary does the same. I think their secondary for the Cowboys is solid, but I think Singletary is going to get those dump offs from Daniel Jones. So I like Singletary at the RB2.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, how do you guys feel about Zeke? I have him in the borderline flex/sit him this week.
Him in the flex him to the fucking waivers.
Yeah, there you go.
Out of here. I literally have him on the cut list. Y'all can
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he played terribly last week. He's given up work to Rico Dowdle. Do you guys think Rico Dowdle takes over soon this week?
This week, but I think it's like they have a committee approach, so
right.
Yeah, right now it's Dowdle and Tolbert, and so I don't know if it's a takeover, but Zeke's not really in that committee.
Yeah,
sit Zeke.
Okay, yeah, so Zeke's a sit. I mean, yeah, the rest of the guys. I mean, obviously you start Neighbors. Daniel, do you play Daniel Jones if you need to? Like your QB's injured, you're in a deep league. Do you play Daniel Jones Thursday night?
Maybe for the rushing upside. Because if, let's say, the pressure's there, nothing in the secondary is open, Daniel Jones can run. So maybe, like, if it's desperation play. But, yeah.
All right. Yeah, and then on the Cowboys side, you start Dak, you start CD. Do you start Brandon Cooks, or is he flex worthy?
Low-key as a flex, I'm not mad at it, but it's between him and Tolbert, which I'm like, I don't know.
Back and forth.
Those two are kind of battling to be the second receiver target in Dallas right now.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe one of them emerges this week. I mean, if you need the flex play and you don't have any other option, you could probably, I would maybe take a shot on Brandon Cooks. Jake Ferguson, I think you start him with confidence. I mean, the tight end landscape, we're going to talk about that every matchup. We talk about tight ends. I mean, kind of just, you have to just pray and just hope for yards and points and hope they get a touchdown. Because at this point, tight ends are probably the worst position in fantasy this year so far. that's about it for this matchup. Do you start the Cowboys defense against the Giants?
No.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Nah.
conflicting
Hell yeah.
opinions. All right. MFV says hell yeah. BBTB says no.
I just think like they're gonna boom. Like I think the offense and defense is gonna be like, yo, this is they always smack the Giants. So
True, but
I
they
don't
got
know. Like, I
Neighbors
get
this
Malik
year.
Neighbors. Yeah, he's crazy, but
Neighbors is going to put up. I think he's going to get a touchdown, if not two.
Damn.
yeah, a touchdown, sure, but like
Sure.
I don't know, one touchdown doesn't make it better if the score is like 40-7. You know?
True. Yeah, we saw that with the
I-
Bills.
Yeah, but I don't have this Thursday night game as a blowout. I think this is going to be a 2-score, like within a 2-score game, pretty much
Like
the
a back
entire
and forth?
time. Yeah, back and forth,
Okay.
2-score game. That's it.
All right.
We'll see, man. I mean, it's gonna be Trayvon Diggs and Malik Neighbors, so we'll see
Battling
how
it
good
out.
Diggs really is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Let's move on to the Sunday games. Bengals Panthers. On the Bengals side, we saw Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase finally connect. I mean, they played against Washington, who has the worst pass defense. So that was a really good boost for that team and for those two. I think this week you start T. Higgins. You can play Gesicki. Like I said, tight ends are just suck this year, so I think you can play Gesicki if you don't have another option. That's it for the Bengals. You can start Zach Moss against the Panthers.
Yeah,
Moss,
for sure.
Zach Moss is like a pretty strong start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
He's identified himself or kind of established himself as the number one. He's not sharing any more work with Chase Brown.
Yeah.
He's good to go. On the other side, Deontay Johnson looked good, man, with Andy Dalton. Like
Mhm.
the ball, they look good, like good connection there. We saw, he had like what 12 targets last week.
Yeah. Some close like that.
Yeah, so I mean, if you have that many targets, you got to do something with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's good to go. I think there was who was it that got injured? The wide receiver, Thielen. Thielen's injured. I think.
Adam Thielen on
Yeah.
IR.
Yeah,
IR.
he went on. Okay, so there's more targets that can go to Deontay Johnson. What about any of those other receivers? Do you start Leggett or do you sit him?
I'll be honest.
I wouldn't really be keen to starting Leggett. I think the only Carolina receiver I'm starting is Deontay Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, no, same thing what MLB said. Sit Leggett, see what he can do with Dalton, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
All
I'd
right.
also roll out Chuba too. You know, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, man,
Mhm.
he went crazy last game. Ton of
Mhm.
carries.
I'd even roll out Dalton if you need it.
Would you play Andy Dalton against the Bengals, or do you play Daniel Jones against the Cowboys?
Dalton.
Dalton.
Really?
I'm liking. Hey, he looked good, man.
I think he regresses, man. I think he looked good last game, and the Raiders made him look good. That's my opinion.
I mean, I
at
guess. But I mean, 3 TDs is a regression from 4 TDs. But 3 TDs is still an amazing game.
it is.
right?
Yeah, I don't
So-
think he throws 3 TDs this week. I think he throws maybe 2.
But
be
listen
honest.
though,
So it's 2. That's solid.
I understand you might not be a fan of Dalton, but what Jaden Daniels did against that Bengals defense, I think Dalton could do something similar. They put
Jaden-
38 on their head.
Jaden Daniels can run though.
Yeah,
Dalton's
Jaden
not
Daniels
moving
is
like
pressure.
that.
I wouldn't really compare it like that, but
100%,
there's
but
a
I'm just saying
difference.
that offense is kind of open, or that defense is kind of open. So I feel like
Yeah.
Dalton could still do some destruction.
I don't think
Yeah.
you know what you're talking about. No.
No, 100%.
no, I get what you're saying. The defense isn't like the best, but it's also
Yeah.
not the weakest, right? The very middle of the pack. Like no position has done like a crazy amount of damage to that defense.
Right. I
Yeah.
think
But,
this week. I
they
think
also
this
haven't shut down any position. You know. Also.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think this week is a bit of a test to see can Carolina keep up this production against other teams?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's it from both teams. Anything there else that we're missing?
Nah.
Chilling.
All right. Let's move on. Saints Falcons.
Man.
Man, this This is the Saints, man. What happened last week?
2 unlucky plays, man. 2 really unlucky plays. Should have won that game, man. All
Two
good.
unlucky plays. Carr didn't do very well last game, and then you had Rashid Shaheed with a donut. Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
That was an interesting last game. But this week, I mean, the Saints. You start Olave, Kamara. Obviously, if he's healthy, he was questionable. He had, I think it was, he's tagged questionable with Hibbs or
Hibbs.
hip / ribs. Sorry.
He'll be fine.
He plays? Okay. He didn't
Yeah,
practice today, but it's probably like a veteran rest.
He had the same issue last year, and he pretty much played after his suspension, so he should be fine.
Okay. I mean, last year, this year is a different story, but
Yeah.
I think it was more a veteran rest day.
I think,
Yeah.
I mean, both these teams have a very, very talented RB, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, pretty much top 5 RBs in the current fantasy landscape. But
Right.
both defenses have not given up a lot to RBs. So that's
Mhm.
going to be something interesting to look out for.
Yeah, honestly, I have this game as a low-scoring game. I feel like this might be one of those 16-13 games, 13-10 kind of games. I don't know. I don't have this game as a crazy scoring game. I think it's going to come down to the defenses.
Yeah, for sure.
There-
And it's going to come down to who booms on the receiving end, right?
Of course.
So I think Rashid Shaheed will still be good and do okay.
I think he
Mhm.
bounces back this week.
I think it's like a confident flex for me. But more interesting is maybe like a Darnell Mooney. Do you guys trust him in the flex?
Against the Falcon, I mean, against the Saints.
I'm not too sure on that right now. Look, because our nickel's playing fire right now. His name is something Taylor, and he's number 1. He's a straight stud. I don't know. Maybe if Mooney gets those screen passes, those little wheel routes, he can get a bunch of those. But I would not put my hopes into Mooney
Rashid Shaheed or Darnell Mooney?
for the
Shaheed.
boom option. I'm going Rashid Shaheed.
I take Rashid Shaheed. Do you
Yeah.
play Darnell Mooney or do you play Brandon Cooks
Wow,
Cooks.
they'd probably go Cooks.
in the divisional matchup? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Mooney's kind of leaning towards a sit then in most leagues. Okay. If you don't have an option, you can flex him. Just don't expect a lot out of him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Derek Carr, we have him listed as a sit this week. Any comments on that?
Yeah, honestly, I'm sitting Carr. I don't think he's gonna perform crazy. I think it's just gonna be a defensive game. Maybe Carr gets 1 touchdown in. I'm not banking on 2 touchdowns. I think Kamar's still gonna eat with those little drop offs.
Yeah. Dump
But-
off passes. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm not high on Carr this week.
I think
Okay.
I'm not crazy high on Carr, but I think he's like a decent start. Like he'll be like mid QB2 range, mid to low QB2 range. Like
Him
I think he'll
or Andy Dalton.
Dude, I might go Dalton as crazy
As a Saints fan.
as a Saints fan. I'm even saying it as a Saints fan. I might go Dalton for fantasy
think I'm-
purposes.
I might lean Dalton too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might lean Dalton too.
All
But
right.
that's a tough one. That's a good question.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
tough.
Yeah.
Toss it. But seems like we're more leaning towards Dalton in this case.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I think
my main thinking
it's
there is
toss-up.
like with Cincinnati, like they could be ran on, right?
Mm.
With Chuba.
Okay.
And that opens up the pass game, right? I think Atlanta's not the easiest to run on against.
No,
right?
they have a
so
Pretty good
Mm.
run
we'll
defense.
see how Kamara does, right? So that's why I think Carr is like limited ceiling, I'll say.
Mm.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Drake London, Bijan, you obviously start both of them. Do you start Drake London with confidence, or you just start him because you have him as your second round pick?
It's a confident start.
I don't know about confidence, bro. Saint's gonna lock that homie up, bro. Like I know he's from where I'm from, but he might get locked up.
Brother, Devonta Smith, who you could say they're even. I don't know. You could say they're even. You could say Drake London's better.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was eating against y'all. Dallas Go Dirt was murking y'all.
Bro,
So Drake
Goddard
London probably
went.
gonna eat.
Oh, that was
go
unlucky play
dirt,
according to this
schmo dirt, bro. Go dirt, schmo dirt.
guy. All right, bro.
Poor man.
Just
Look,
saying.
let's move on. Pitts, you put him in your lineup. All tight ends suck this year, so put Pitts in your lineup. If you
Yeah,
if you
put
drafted
Pitts
him,
and pray.
just play him.
Yeah.
And then pray. Let's move on. Jaguars, Texans. I think Texans are due for a big bounce back. They got smacked by the Vikings last week. That was
Yeah.
Mhm.
a terrible game for
Quick
them.
note: if nobody knows the news, Tank Dell is gonna sit. I think most likely.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Yeah, and then Mixon is day to day.
Mixon he did not practice today. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's something to know. If you don't have
Mhm.
Cam Akers already, go get him.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
he do like nothing last week, bro?
No. He had like 10 fantasy points last week.
Oh, okay.
Like,
my bad.
is that, I mean, like, if you're in deep leagues, if you're in
sure.
14, 16, man, that's solid.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So,
He had
yeah.
9 attempts for 21 yards. That was a terrible game.
Yeah.
They
I think
he did get a receiving touchdown, so he caught a ball for
low key, man. I got my feeling on this game is like every week, like low key, starting last week, kinda. There's
Mhm.
been like a trap game where like some dog team just ends up going dumb. I
Mhm.
think this is the trap game.
yeah. All right.
So-
Jack's like T Law just,
Balls out.
I don't know. Yeah.
So
like,
then,
goes dumb.
Christian Kirk, do you start him? Is he flex for it?
100%.
Low-key,
100%.
like, flex Kirk, flex
Let
Brian
me-
Thomas.
I'm
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
high on Kirk this week. I'm very high on Kirk this week. Bounce
he
back
was
game for
given
sure.
a good amount of points to QBs and receivers, bro. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then Evan Ingram looks like he's not playing this week. He missed practice due to hamstring. So do you start Brenton Strange? I mean, if you picked up Brenton
I
Strange,
wouldn't really start Brandon Strange.
okay.
But,
Do you
I
start
don't
him
wanna
or
discuss
like
tight ends, bro. I'm just gonna.
dude? People
Like-
want to know because they're all terrible. So do you?
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. They all
Bro-
terrible. Just start whoever.
I'm saying I'm giving you suggestions because people don't know
Yeah,
who to
yeah.
start. Brenton Strange or do you
Schultz?
take? Nah, Schultz is auto sit every week. I put that in the notes. Auto sit every week.
I mean, if Tank Dell's not playing though, like maybe
I would take Brenton Strange over Schultz. I know
that's
Tank Dell's
crazy
not
one.
playing, but I still take I take Strange
Oh.
over Schultz. I mean you start obviously Nico Collins. You
Mhm.
start Stephon Diggs.
You could start every like receiver, every like relevant receiver RB on Texans confidently.
Mhm.
Stroud will have a good game.
Mhm.
So Jacks have given up so much, right? But they also had tough opponents. You know what I mean?
True.
They
Yeah.
played Buffalo, Cleveland, and Miami. So
Yeah.
the numbers might be a little skewed. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Back to Christian Kirk real quick. I noted that he's flexworthy. Do you play Christian Kirk or do you like if you're flexing, right? Christian Kirk or do you flex Xavier Worthy from the Chiefs?
I'm going Kirk, bro. I have Kirk's bounce back week. I think he's gonna do his thing.
Christian Kirk or T. Higgins against the Panthers?
Oof.
Yeah.
That's
Probably
a tough
T.
one.
Probably T.
Probably
T.
T on
I'll
that
probably
one.
go Worthy over Kirk as well.
Worthy over
Mm.
Kirk? Okay.
Yeah, maybe. That's like a how I'm
Toss it.
thinking.
Because I mean
just because they're in a divisional game. Like divisional games, you kind of got to get tricky. You'd be using other pieces.
right. Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, something to think about. I take Kirk in that situation. I think, yeah, man.
Look,
probably.
I-
I'd probably go
listen.
Kirk, yeah.
the thing is though, I was spot on last week with Go Dirt and Jawan Jennings. I think I'm gonna be spot on with Kirk. Take my advice on this one. We going Kirk.
All right,
Kirk.
guys, you heard it from
BBTV's weekly call, Christian
straight
Kirk.
from BBTV's stud of the week, Christian Kirk, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We will discuss that next week.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Broncos Jets. Doo-doo versus the Jets.
Man.
Um,
Oh man. Okay. Well, let's get this out
let's-
the way.
let's
Do
just-
you start any Bronco?
let me see. No, literally nobody.
It's like maybe it's like a I don't know. You're not starting anyone. It's tough.
You can't.
You got to get lucky.
You can't.
You just got to get lucky, man. It's like
You-
the
So,
the
fun
fattest
fact,
desperation
fun
play.
fact, they
It's-
haven't thrown a passing TD yet.
Yeah, I
Where?
doubt it.
I did not
They're
know
playing
that.
against the
Swear.
Jets.
They play
Great.
against the Jets. who have allowed like one of the lowest against QBs.
Yeah, this is
and then it's pretty much bad in every position. They don't allow many points in every position.
yeah.
no.
So this is the same story every week. Don't start any Broncos players. One thing I want to note is that for Denver, in terms of the RB situation, something to keep track of is that they did sign.
They signed Batty Bidet, whatever.
So his name is Tyler Bidet. It's spelled Batty.
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's the running back that last week he got some garbage time touches. He had 9 attempts for 70 yards on the ground. He was the most efficient running back on their team by a mile. I mean, what's his name?
Yeah.
Javonte looks horrible. McLaughlin looks better than Javonte somehow and still looks bad. I don't think you obviously don't start, but there's just someone to watch. So in deeper leagues, I might pick him up, honestly, because I have Javonte. I hate my life. But just something for the listeners out there, just something to monitor and watch his production this weekend, see what happens. On to the Jets. Very interestingly enough, do you start Garrett Wilson? Because we talked about Pat Surtain last week against Mike Evans, and I have the stats here. Pat Surtain against DK Metcalf, 3 receptions, 29 yards for DK. George Pickens, 2 receptions, 29 yards. Mike Evans, 2 receptions, 17 yards. No one has more than 3 receptions against lines up against
That's kind
Pat
of
Surtain.
wild. I will say this about that, right? So this is something we mentioned before to any of our previous listeners. They already know. But Pat Surtain has been locking down.
Yep.
Garrett Wilson's better than these 3 receivers.
Okay.
Not by a large margin. Evans and DK are raw. Even Pickens is raw. I like all 3 of these guys a lot.
Yeah.
But Garrett Wilson's probably a little bit better talent-wise, younger.
True.
I think the same age as Pickens. But anyways, I think he gets a lot more volume. So is it his ceiling's capped? His ceiling is capped at maybe 12 points, right?
Yeah.
For Garrett Wilson.
So
That's
if he
my
gets
take.
touchdown, right?
I think he gets 4 to 5 catches this week. Yeah,
so that's if Pat Surtain's lined up against him. BBTB had a stat you mentioned. You mentioned it earlier off the podcast. What was it again? You mentioned about how they line up.
Yeah, so I was about to say, I don't think Robert Saleh is a very smart head coach, and he's probably have seen those stats himself with DK, Pickens, and Evans with PS2 locking him up. So I think he's going to play Garrett Wilson more at the flex and open up that middle. Those linebackers are not that great. The nickel isn't the best. Obviously, you got, so if pretty much Robert Saleh's probably his goal is to have Pat Surtain as much, not even close on Garrett Wilson. So I still think Garrett Wilson should eat. I think that's the game plan going forward. So I like Garrett Wilson on this.
He does do a lot of in crossing routes. So I could definitely see that. I was low-key going to propose this might be an Alan Lazard game. Because if he's opposite side of Pat.
That's what I was thinking
he's
too.
But eat.
Yeah, but
nah, I'm not a fan of Lazard this week.
I think if Pat Surtain is lined up on Lazard, game over, right? If he's lined up on Garrett Wilson, then Lazard could pop off because, he doesn't have to deal with Pat Surtain. Taking these things into consideration, obviously for your lineups, those of you that are listening, if you have Garrett Wilson, you're probably going to play him. You probably don't have a better option on your team to replace him with. But
low-key, now that I think about it, this might be another solid Conklin game.
I was just about to say it. I swear, I was just about to say it.
Tight ends. I swear it might be a Conklin game.
On everything else, I swear, I was waiting for Kimmo to finish. I was be like, yo, Conklin might be the guy this week. This is the tight end that you play on pick up off the waivers. You play him. I chose Go Dirt last week. I think Conklin will do well for sure.
Yeah, I mean he did well last week too. I think he did solid last week. I'm not gonna say he did amazing or anything, but Tyler Conklin last week had 6 targets, 5 receptions, 93 yards against the Patriots. So if he can do something similar, he probably end up tight end 3 this week.
Could be
because of how bad the tight ends have been. You obviously start Breece Hall. Braylon Allen is a desperation play. I don't really know if he does much this game.
I think Braylon Allen's a good flex play this week, bro.
Really. I
mean,
would put him
you
more
expect
on
Broncos to keep it within 2 scores.
Bro,
I mean,
Bro, in the last episode, remember we talked about the rush share has been only decreasing for Breece Hall and increasing for Braylon.
Mhm.
So if that trend continues or even flattens, he's
Yeah.
getting like 40% of the rushes, which is
Right.
enough as a flex.
Mhm.
True.
But-
I mean,
but-
yeah.
But what I'm gonna say though is like, but with the Broncos though, like they stopped like the Buccaneers offense, like Baker Mayfield and all those other receivers and running backs, they looked horrible. But at the same time, the Bucs produced against the Lions the week before. So I don't really know. Basically, do the Broncos I don't know how good the Broncos are going to be. So I think Braylon is like just literally a boomer bust desperation play. Like I don't know if like I'm happy with playing him at the flex.
I don't think he's boomer bust. I think he has a pretty. I think his ceiling's like 5 fantasy
Let me
points.
spin it to you this way, right?
His floor is 5 fantasy points. Go ahead.
Yeah, so let me spin it to you this way, right? When the Jets played the Pats, right? Is the Pats a better offense than the Broncos?
No.
Right?
No, they're not.
They shut down the Pats.
Okay.
So how can they not shut down the Broncos? You feel me? Right?
Well, I mean, I have the Broncos a little bit higher than the Pats.
Oh, as the offense, a little bit higher.
As an offense, just slightly, just nothing crazy.
Okay.
They're neck and neck.
Miraculously better than Ramondre. I think Braylon as a talent is better than Ramondre. Right?
Wow. Okay.
So
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's all
Jets stopped him, like shut him down.
In my opinion, in deeper leagues, you can flex Braylon Allen, but in 12-man leagues, you probably have a better flex option.
12-man, probably not.
Yeah. But deeper leagues, yeah, you can.
If I thought, I wouldn't be like.
Do you flex Lazard or Braylon Allen?
No clue. No clue.
Hopefully you don't have both those players.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We've been on
Braylon
this.
Allen, but I'm a fan. Anyway.
MFB has a lot of shares of Braylon Allen. He likes it. He's a good player. Let's move on. Vikings Packers. Obviously start Jay Jettis. I don't think he's dealing with any injuries. I think his injuries, he's 100% healthy. Last week he was dealing with some quad contusion or something. Aaron Jones killing it. I mean, that whole offense is just moving, man.
He's a stud, man.
Dude, they have proven me wrong. Sam Darnold, he has no injury restriction, full participant in Wednesday's practice. He did go down with a knee last week or something. He had a bone bruise in his left knee, according to the report. But he full practice today, Wednesday. So that team is all good to go. But Packers defense is pretty good, so we'll see how that goes. But in terms of receivers or like other players, like you obviously start Aaron Jones, you obviously start Jay Jettis. On the Packers side, you start Josh Jacobs. You don't really start anyone else.
Yeah, I'm not starting anyone. Jaden Reed maybe at the flex, but everyone else, I'm cool off of.
Dude, the Vikings shut the Texans down, like shut them down completely, bro.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Nuts.
That was crazy.
And yeah, bro, what's his name? CJ Stroud's not a bad quarterback. He's good. And they just
obviously, yeah.
And yeah, that was a crazy game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just all dumbfounded for those of you that are listening. We didn't even know what to say about that. We just,
But listen, just real quick. I just want to say something on.
I agree. The Packers receivers, like not suck, but like they need Jordan Love to be really good, right? So unless he's back, then there's no real viable receiver from Green Bay to really start. I probably wouldn't even start Malik Willis. Minnesota defense has been performing really well. They haven't given up a lot of points to any position.
Yeah, and then just
I would even really temper expectations for Josh Jacobs. So.
Yeah, and then one thing real quick. Honestly, if you guys either have Aaron Jones or you should go get Aaron Jones, go get Aaron Jones. I think he has proven himself as the number one obvious guy. I think he had 150, almost 150 scrimmage yards on the ground last week. Like
He had
that,
100. 148 scrimmage
like
yards.
yeah, exactly, pretty close. So he's proven to be the guy. I think Aaron Jones might be a league winner. So I'm high on that guy. If you can get him for the low, get him for the low.
Yeah. The way he's looking and the way they're running him and that offense is running, I think you insure him. If you don't have Ty Chandler, just go pick him up. Anything happens to Aaron Jones, he's what, 29 or so?
He's
No
pretty
clue.
old. I think he's 30, and I think
Yeah.
he's low key be injury prone. He's injured every year,
Yeah.
But he's doing his thing, dude.
and they're running
No.
him a lot. He is. He's for sure
Yeah, he is,
well known.
but he, like he said, they are running him a lot, man. They're doing a lot of plays with him, and so he might just, if you have Aaron Jones, insure him because he's clearly worth it. And get Ty Chandler off the waivers if he's not if he's available. I mean,
Mhm.
I think that's it for that matchup.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Let's move on. Steelers Colts. Steelers, you start Najee. That's pretty much it. Jalen Warren is not playing this week. He's not practicing. He's dealing with some issue. I don't even know what it is. I think it's a knee injury.
I think a hamstring.
Monday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, a hamstring as well. Well, yeah. Then yeah, don't play him. Don't expect him to play. Najee. So Interestingly enough, Najee Harris was seen in a sling, but Mike Tomlin said he will play. Like he guaranteed Najee Harris will play this week. So I don't really know what that's about or why he's in a sling. I don't know if anyone else has any more information on that. I'm clueless. If somehow
Not
for
too
some
sure
reason,
either.
yeah, if for some reason Najee just doesn't go, like they just decide, oh, just kidding, haha, we fooled everyone. Cordell Patterson is the next step on the depth chart, and against the Colts, I think you can start him if Najee doesn't play, and Jalen Warren, obviously.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm really high on the starting RB for the Steelers, whether it's Najee, but if Najee doesn't play, whether it's Cordell Patterson, I think that whoever the starting RB is going to eat, I think it's going to be a great RB2. So if you need an RB2, I'd play one of those two for sure. Who's ever starting, obviously.
Yeah. Pickens is flex worthy. Like you can
I would actually say Pickens is like wide receiver 2 worthy this week.
I like that.
Colts, wide receivers eat Colts. Deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been eating.
What do you do with?
I would say Calvin Austin, maybe even a flex.
I was gonna say, what do you do with Calvin Austin? He looked
possibly
like
a flex, but it's like very like less type option.
Yeah,
but it looks good for him.
Yeah, he seemed to be Fields' favorite target last week.
This is a good matchup for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last week Calvin Austin, 4 receptions, 5 targets, 95 yards and a touchdown.
Last week they did play Chicago, so maybe Pickens got locked up because Chicago pass D is really good.
Yeah, they have number 23 on that team. He was like a Pro Bowler, or he's really, really good.
The Steelers?
No, for Chicago.
Oh,
when Pittsburgh played Chicago last week.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh played the Chargers.
It was probably talking about 2 weeks ago.
Am I tripping?
Pittsburgh. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, you're confusing us, man. Come on.
sorry.
No, they played the Chargers last week. But yeah, no, I mean, Calvin also went crazy. So he's a boomer bust. If you picked him up off the waivers, you probably needed a player to flex. So if you can risk the boomer bust, then yeah, go for it with Calvin Austin. But on the Colts side, Anthony Richardson, I mean, I think he comes back. He just had a bad game.
I do not think he comes back against the
100%. 100%. That's the same thing I was about to say. I think Steelers are currently ranked number 1 in defense, like overall. That D line is crazy. That secondary is crazy. I don't see Anthony Richardson.
They've given up the absolute least fantasy points to QBs.
Yeah, I very Steelers D for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think he does. I think he does better than he did last week. Maybe not by much, but yeah. Do you play if you have Anthony Richardson? Do you play him or do you play Andy Dalton?
Dalton.
All right. Hey, no, I mean people have that question. Do you? I mean, man, do you play him or
Aaron Rodgers?
Derek Carr.
Look, I mean, okay. Let me actually. Now that I think about it, right?
Yeah,
So, like you said, Pittsburgh played the Chargers, then they played Denver, then they played the Falcons. So they played a bunch of like mid QBs.
Yeah.
So it could be number one, an inflated stat, and number two, none of these QBs rush. So that might like open up a lot of you know what I mean? Like that might throw the Pit D in a whack.
I think Anthony Richardson scrambles and gets a couple of rush plays, and when he does that, then they try to clamp him down, and he might be able to get a pass off.
But at the same time, the homie can't throw, so it kind of like
hey, the deep ball, bro. Hey, the deep ball, bro. If he just gets Alec Pierce or Josh Downs, Josh Downs came back last week. I don't know how many snaps he played, but they're working him back into the offense slowly. I'm sure. Yeah. What do you do with Pittman?
Sit him.
I'm sitting like all receivers, especially Pittman.
All Colts receivers. Yep.
All right. All right. That's about Jonathan Taylor. You start. Obviously, you don't sit Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, you start, but it's like a ceiling for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, I really think Anthony Richardson bounces back. Not anything crazy. He's not going to have like a 30 fantasy point game. He might get you 16 if you're lucky.
Oh, I mean, if you're
bounce back, brother.
Yeah,
he can
like you're saying that's your
last week.
I understand, but yeah, like
he coming up, right? He doubled the last. Come on, brother.
No.
Let's move on to the next one, right?
All right, bro. Anyways, next matchup: Rams Bears. On the Rams side, you start Kyren Williams, and nobody else, pretty much.
Tough one.
Yeah, low key, bro. The Chicago's so tough to pass on.
If you're
especially without their top receivers.
I was gonna say if you're gonna start a receiver, I like Tutu Atwell. I think that he picked up a lot of the slack and he was getting most of the work with Cooper Kupp out last year, I think. So I think that him and what's his name? Matt Stafford have the connection, like somewhat of a connection. So I think if desperation play Tutu Atwell, and also kind of boom or bust.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Chicago hasn't given much points to receivers. Chicago does give points to RBs though a little bit. So Kyren should probably see a decent game, and him being key player in the offense, he should see a lot of volume again.
He's eating for sure. He's eating for sure.
He's doing good. Wasn't he your RB fade this year? MLB?
Like not like a hard fade, but like somewhat.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, brother, you're wrong. Viewers, don't listen to MLB on the fades, bro.
Still week 3.
Hey, bro.
And it wasn't like a fade to like mid round 2, bro.
Yeah, but anyways,
everywhere I took him is like everybody else faded him in drafts.
No, he took him right where he landed.
I got him in round 2 in every draft.
That's where he was going though. He was going round 2.
Brother, I was 6th pick in one draft and I got him round 2.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, that's a fade, and that's a good pickup, bro.
That's it.
All right. You start Kyren on the Bears side. Do you do anything with Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams, I think, will do decent this week because the Rams have given up the second most to QBs.
Honestly, I'm taking Caleb Williams over Anthony Richardson. I'll tell you that.
Okay. I'm taking Caleb this week probably over Dalton, Carr, and Richardson.
Okay.
And I'm highly starting like DJ Moore, Romo
Dunze.
Yeah, same.
Those guys.
I like those.
another, passing coverage we talked about. The Rams too high is weak. But Jawan Jennings it looked like Randy Moss.
Brother,
touchdowns, man.
I was at that game. That was crazy. That was crazy to win
Receiver
this.
that can get vertical and just break that, man, they gonna eat, bro. I think Caleb Williams and the O-line can't just mess up. That's all it takes.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you do with the Bears RBs?
I don't know, bro. I think Roshan is like gonna get more carries per the coach.
Yep.
Swift looks so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. The Rams do give up a decent amount to RBs though, so but man, I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I think Swift is a desperation play. You somehow are lacking in the RB department. Let's say you have
Swift and you picked up Roshan Johnson, but you can only play one. Who do you play?
I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. That's the biggest toss-up.
Let's hope you're not in that situation. Do you play Roshan Johnson or do you play a running back from the Broncos?
Roshan.
Okay. Remember the Broncos were playing the Jets.
Bro, the Jets put Ramondre to 0.5, bro.
Yeah,
half a point. Yeah,
not starting any Broncos RB, bro.
And then all of a sudden,
said it could be like some garbage time, like, oh, he got a 20-yard gain. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
Yeah. Dude, I don't even know, bro. I mean, I just go Swift at that point.
Just
if I'm wrong on that, my fault. Yeah, like if I'm wrong, my fault. Like,
yeah, I think I take Swift until I see more out of Roshan Johnson. If I have both, I think I just play Swift and hope for the best. Close my eyes. Don't watch the game. Mm-hmm. That does it for the first 8 matchups. And that'll do it for this episode. We'll be back on the next episode, talk about the next 8 matchups of the week, the 2 Monday night games. And we'll see you on the next episode, guys. Peace.
Peace.